Mission control, the space pod has landed.
Hey there, ho there, YouTubies! How you doing? How you doing? This is an exhaust bracket by Yoshimura. We're going to install this. Very, very basic. This will hold your brake fluid container. Okay, and the idea here is that you're going to take off the rear pegs because you won't need them. You're going to save some weight, and this will hold up your exhaust instead of it being tied to the rear pegs. So that's what we're going to do. I basically traded this for one of my viewers for 2 sets of decals, so that was kind of cool. Barter system is alive and well in 2013. Yay. For this mod, you're going to need, I've never done it before, but you know, you're going to need this size of Allen socket. Now what I recommend, if you haven't done this yet, and I've talked about this in other vids, is get yourself an Allen socket set. So basically one side is a standard 3/8 inch socket driver and the other is your Allen key. So make sure you get a set that has the tiniest size, which is 4mm, and the 4mm is super handy on the Ninja 300 or pretty much any Japanese bike. You will use the hell out of this. See how much I've used it? You can tell. So with this install, you need to be able to drive this little doohickey and also come back here with a 10mm and hold it in place. You're also going to need something for this right here and something to drive that. This appears to be cool. This is the same exact size as the Allen nuts that are holding on your pegs, and that is 6mm. Okay, so now we're going to start the business of removing the pegs. But first you're going to want a breaker bar. So I have this is a 1/2 inch breaker bar. This is a 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch extension. This is an adapter which goes from 1/2 inch to 3/8, and your standard socket which comes out of this kit. Let's do that bracket install. This is super easy, but I'm going to show you anyway because you know what? It's fun to have a video of the installation and see the before and after before you actually buy it or do it yourself. And as I install, I'm going to talk about other stuff, so you get to be on my shoulder, or right between my eyes rather, in the old Ninja 300 garage. And actually, let's do a quickie update on the sticker wall. The sticker wall. So on the sticker wall, we have some great vloggers who I've been trading stickers with, and I believe I already talked about Micah Nye. I think that means New York, but I call it Nye. And of course brand 7701, just did a shout out for her. Accidental broadcast. This is Kalani over in Maui. There's a few of you that are waiting to do this, and I said I was going to get a P.O. box, and I'm still going to do that, but I'm in a tight financial situation, so I need to get through this little period first, and then I'll be able to afford that P.O. box. I know it's crazy, but this is, when you're a freelancer, it's feast or famine. Okay, so the very first step, if you have stands, put your bike on a stand if you like. I chose to do that because everything is squared up and centered, and it's nice and stable, and it's not going to fall that way, it's not going to fall this way. It's pretty good. I don't really have to rely on the kickstand. Alright, let's get to the business of removing the rear pegs. Okay, so this is a 6mm Allen socket right here. And we got a breaker bar. Now, the longer your breaker bar, the more leverage you're going to have. This is a scientific principle. They actually had an experiment at the Science Center once where you were able to lift a truck just with leverage with this giant long-ass lever. Okay, so make sure that's in there so you don't strip it. Is that even working? Or is that stripping? Oh yeah, that's turning. Okay, good. You want to make sure you're jammed in nicely so you don't strip it. There we go. Okay, not too bad. And then one trick is just to remove this and untighten it by hand once it's nice and loose. Okay, now these are generally pretty tight on a bike, so they can be a bear to remove if you don't have a breaker bar. Mine's 24 inch. I recommend a 24 inch, 25 inch breaker bar. Otherwise there's no point. They also have longer ones, I think. There's breaker bars, cheater bars, all this kind of stuff. Longer it is, more leverage, less effort it takes to loosen up a tight nut. Insert joke here. So while I'm doing this, because you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to try to keep my head still so you guys don't get sick watching me work here. Let's talk about G Plus for a minute. Like many of you, I wasn't too happy about Google forcing us into G Plus or Google Plus. And, you know, like many of you, I bit the bullet and I did it. Do I even need these nuts in here? That's what she said. Let's see. Should I leave it like that? It looks kind of crappy, doesn't it? Let me put these in. So I made the switch to G Plus. I recommend you all just do it. One, it's probably unavoidable. I suppose you can stay off it right now, but the one thing I like about it is the comments. There's no more crazy character limit that there used to be on the old YouTube. I think it was 500 characters. I don't know. It was always not enough for me because I type fast. I got a lot to say depending on the subject. I'm opinionated. But, you know, my opinions are thought through. It's not like I just have opinions for no reason. And, you know, I type super quick. So by the time I hit the old YouTube limit, I'm just at my preamble. I'm just setting up my point, and I don't know, it even hurt me when I would get trolled by people because, you know, I have some trolls saying something stupid with their misspelled one-liners, and then I'd want to like rip them a new one with my witty, clever prose, and of course I'd hit the YouTube character limit, and that was annoying because the written word is powerful, but if you're not allowed to type everything you want to type, it sucks. So the new character limit is genius. That's a huge advantage. The fact that you can bold your characters, like you can bold letters and words and whatever, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, you can put a link in there and people can abuse it, but who gives a crap? People can abuse anything. Any freedom you have, people are abusing it. It doesn't matter if it's riding a motorcycle, driving a car, drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette. Whatever it is, people are abusing it. So let's worry about the abuse and not take away the freedoms of people that enjoy using the product as it's meant to be used. So yeah, people are gonna post weird links. So what? Block them, mute them. Such is life. What else do I like about G Plus? I kind of like G Plus proper, you know, G Plus where you can announce, it's another social network where you can announce all your vids. And the great thing is you can sort of get to know new people, whether they're fans or fellow vloggers, before you actually subscribe to them. Like, sometimes I want to get to know someone because, like, maybe their video turns me off. That looks like shit. Maybe their video turns me off, so maybe I want to get to know them a little bit and then realize, hey, they're not really like that here. I don't know, I'm weird like that though. Like, if I watch someone's video and they're like cursing in the first 3 minutes and it doesn't feel, it feels kind of aggressive, and I'm like, wow, this guy's kind of a douche. I may not think that if I meet them outside of that video. See what I'm saying? Like, I come off one way in videos maybe, depending on the subject. But if you meet me, I'm a different kind of guy. Happy-go-lucky, willing to make you laugh. So I guess we're going to have those gaping holes. There's probably a way to, there's probably some kind of cover for that, or some kind of like cosmetic plug. I guess I don't mind it. Okay, now we're going to remove this. So this nut is 10 mil. A lot of these are all the same sizes. So Yoshimura is aces about this stuff, man. They they seem to go out of their way to make it easier for you when it comes to how they size the nuts that they use. So you can thank their engineering for that. Okay, this is 14 millimeter. So let's get this one off. Breaker bar, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So lefty loosey, whoop. There's no ratchet. That's okay. Okay, we're gonna just make it hand tight, and then we're gonna loosen these because we don't want it flopping all around. Other benefits of G+, you know, the comments are just way better in like every conceivable way, so I think that's a good thing. The way they're threaded, so conversations have a more logical order, that I think makes a lot of sense. The way you're notified is a little annoying because you have to see everything in G+, so now you need two sites to use one site. That's, yeah, that's cumbersome, but that's how Google wants it. And I guess, you know, you just, once you accept it, it's easier. There are some powerful advantages too. Like I said, being able to link to your own videos. Someone asks a question like, you know, because people ask me a lot of the same questions over and over, like, is the 300 good for a short rider? And then I could just link to my short rider video, or I can link to where I bought my 300, or I can link to someone else. So that's really powerful. Yeah, you're gonna have people that do like stupid ASCII art and all that crap, but if it really bugs you, just mute them, you know, or block them if they're really bad. But for all the people doing ASCII art, you got people who can actually type a legitimate character they might want to type. So I like all those high ASCII characters. Okay, now this is gonna flop, so we wanna control that, so we don't scrape anything. Okay, hand tight, hand loose. I don't think the exhaust is gonna flop too much, but if it does, it's okay. Remember this order just in case you forget. Okay, where the holder is the back thing right here, right? That's the rearmost thing, so keep that in mind. Oh, we got a lock nut here. Now things are going to try to fall. Try to catch it all. That rhymes. Okay. Nut, bolt, bracket. Third hand needed. Okay, that's, remember this is closest to you, so let's put it here. Okay, that's free. Brake line dealio, it's right here. Let's hide this back here. Perfect. Okay, so this is what this looks like when you take it off. Yeah, see, we're going to save, I don't know, a pound or so by removing these rear pegs, at least. So it might be easier to put this in place first. This, the new bracket, and then figure out where we are, or where we need to go. Everything is going to be hand tightened at first. But this is immovable, so this doesn't really have any wiggle room, or there's no need for play here. Okay, let's take this out. So this you can pretty much tighten it back down. We'll torque to spec once we get it in there. Make sure you don't strip it. Okay. Right now it's just snug, nice and snug. Okay, so this is where this falls. So what we want to do is figure out where this goes, where it needs to go to match up. Well, right here apparently. That's easy enough, isn't it? This is inset, so this bolt is meant to go in like that. So yeah, that's got to be like that probably. Let's try this. I guess it's probably like this. And then washer, washer, and then nut. Hand tight. And yeah, that's probably right. Okay, this back nut is 12 millimeter. So we're gonna set for righty-tighty. So I got my 1/4 inch driver in the back. 6 millimeter in the front. Let's see what happens. That looks pretty correct. So, okay. Without going too crazy on the tightening, that looks like it's correct. That holds the Yosh nice and securely. Right there. Now, how do we route our brake line? So the sizing on these nuts, 10 millimeter front, 10 millimeter back. There's like a lock nut in the back, so tighten this up. Okay, one last little detail is you want the little cover stay right here that comes off the old bike, and Yosh provides this bolt and tiny little nut, and the socket is 7 millimeters, so you can just drop this in here. Okay, I had better luck putting this bracket behind this plate, so it seems to make better contact, so nobody can just come along and unscrew that without having a Phillips head and a lock nut. Once this is tightened down, just take a 10 millimeter socket, put it on the back to hold it down, and you can loosen this up, and that's 4 millimeter. Loosen it up, level it off like this, make it nice and level, and then screw it back down. That's 4 millimeter. Okay, so that's it. That completes the installation of the Yoshimura Exhaust Bracket. All right, hope you enjoyed. Thanks.